United States Senator Lindsey Graham is a steadfast leader, unafraid of tackling the tough issues facing South Carolina and the nation. Serving in the Senate seat once held by the legendary Senator Strom Thurmond, Senator Graham is known for being a solutions-oriented senator who is focused on finding common ground on the big issues of our time.
When I moved to South Carolina in 1999, he was one of the first elected officials that I got to know in South Carolina, and I found him to be, both as a member of the House and now as a senator, to be something that we don't quite frankly see a lot in today's politicians, and that is that he's a statesman. And I think he's cut from the very best cloth that I think a United States Senator should be cut from. He's a conservative, he's pro-business, but at the same time, he recognizes that from time to time, he's got to work on the other side of the aisle, that he's got to figure out at the end of the day, what's the best possible compromise to get something good done for South Carolina and for the business community.
Lindsey Graham is a natural leader. He brings his intelligence, his commitment, his understanding, and his courage to address the really tough issues that are facing South Carolina and our country. Senator Graham doesn't flinch in front of the toughest issues, whether it's national defense or the federal budget deficit. He wants to be in the room when the tough decisions are being made.
South Carolina is blessed to have a statesman like Senator Graham. We have a history, and many of us remember the statesman called Strom Thurmond, and we're blessed to have a repeat in Senator Graham. He looks out for the good of our state and the good of the citizen of his state and the businessman of his state. And we're blessed to have that kind of leader in Washington.
Senator Graham has several great attributes. He's strategic, he's smart, yet he's very practical, and he's determined to deliver outcomes. And I think that's a lot of what's missing today in Congress. You know, he's driven by outcomes, and he, I think, outworks really everyone else in coming to solutions.
One of Senator Graham's top priorities is to deepen the Charleston harbor to handle the future shipping needs of the world economy. He has worked across party lines to ensure the Port of Charleston stays relevant on the federal level.
One of the reasons Michelin came to South Carolina 40 years ago was because of the presence of the wonderful Port of Charleston. That port is even more important today to Michelin and all the other manufacturers that are flocking to the state. And there is nobody who's provided better leadership to ensure the deepening of the port to allow the post-Panamax vessels to come in than Senator Lindsey Graham. And that leadership is crucial for our company, it's crucial for manufacturing in the state, and it's crucial for all the people of South Carolina.
Senator Graham immediately saw the strategic importance of our deepening and worked to find solutions both within the party and across the aisle and with the administration. So I think he has become the foremost expert on harbor deepening really in Congress, which has greatly benefited our port.
He helped lead the fight in Washington against an overzealous National Labor Relations Board, whose rulings and regulations could have significant negative consequences for economic development in the Palmetto State.
Lindsey was very instrumental in getting Boeing to come to South Carolina. He was part of the group that helped convince them that this was a great place to do business. And then furthermore, he worked pretty hard to make sure that the NLRB didn't get in the way of doing what they wanted to do in South Carolina. And so just those two things, you know, really created one of the biggest economic engines that we now have in the state of South Carolina.
Senator Graham believes that creating a pro-business environment is the best way to make South Carolina and the nation successful over the long term.
He's just a big advocate and cheerleader for business, and he doesn't discriminate whether it's large business or small business. You know, when I was very small business, he treated me just like he did when I was around him with other businesses. I felt just as important as the very large businesses, and so he's just good for business.
One of the things Lindsey has done for this state is he knows when to go to bat on the big, important issues for South Carolina business, whether it's the port, the NLRB, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's regulatory relief. He gets it, and he knows when to go to bat, and he knows how to hit it out of the park.
He told me very clearly that he wanted to see the port deepened, and even if that came as a consequence of him not being elected again, that it was important for him to see the port deepened, and I consider that a very selfless act.
Always putting solutions ahead of politics, Senator Graham is a steadfast leader and a champion for the state that he loves.
I just think South Carolinians need to understand that he really does care about this state. He cares about its people. He cares about the businesses in this state, and he loves this state. He loves its citizens. And again, as we even went through this recent mess with the Washington shutdown, he didn't play the games of what you might call brinksmanship. I think he continued to be a statesman throughout this, and let's figure out a way to solve this and get beyond it. And I think that's what a United States Senator should be doing.
He is that statesman. He's everybody's politician. And politician is a downgrade. He's everybody's statesman.